Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on all of my eyeshadow palettes that I own. There is a sufficiently large amount. It's definitely not necessary for anyone to own this many, but I just love makeup and eyeshadow palettes. I definitely continuously buy on the regular because they're like the most versatile palettes, I think, because you can use any eyeshadow for all its different looks. Like, it's better than like a contour palette, which only like a few shades might suit your skin tone. So I like buying eyeshadow palettes the most. I'm mainly doing this video to show what I own so that some people can request like certain videos based on certain palettes, which would be a lot easier to film videos in the future, so I can get more suggestions for you guys and that you know what I have, what I can work with. And I will try and do my best to find the prices and include them in the video as well. If I can't find the price, that will pretty much mean that it was limited edition and it's no longer being sold, which I will also include if I can't find the price for it. So without further ado, let's jump into this crazy collection that I have in front of me, because it's a little overwhelming. So the best way that I figured I should break this video up is to do smallest eyeshadow palettes first, and I will try and leave prices like in the corner or something so that you know just how much they are. So I'm going to start off with this Wet n Wild palette that I actually just bought. This is the Art in the Streets palette by Wet n Wild. It's really hard to find a palette with like all sorts of crazy colors like this that are matte. I do like buying palettes like this because like around Halloween time I do like to do some crazy makeup looks, and it's really kind of hard to find matte eyeshadows that I can work with, because I don't really like Halloween makeup that they sell at like Party City because it's usually not pigmented enough. So I do love Wet n Wild's eyeshadows, and I've actually already dived into this purple shade here just to use on the regular because purple is really great for brown eyes, which I do have. Next palette we have here is a small one by MAC. This is their Burgundy ×9 palette. I bought this one and one other one, and to be honest, when I did buy them I actually didn't realize how tiny they were. I think it's perfect for traveling. The pans in this palette are pretty small, but I do love the tones because they're really great for brown eyes. Sticking with the MAC theme, this is the Amber ×9 palette. This is way more warm toned than the other one. Again, this size is great for travel. Next up is my Urban Decay Basics palette. There are two of these small ones and I only have one of them. I like this one better than the other one because it has this shimmery shade, which it's not really showing up on camera as shimmery, but this is a great brow bone highlight or inner corner highlight, and this also has a black in it. The other one is more like brown tones, and I don't really feel like you can do much with them because they're all such similar shades. So I do like that this one is more of like an ombre effect, and there is a pretty decent range in this small palette. My next palette is by IBY Beauty. It's a very small palette, and I actually did get this in a BoxyCharm recently. It's a pretty nice palette, and I do like the shades in here. I just haven't gotten around to using it. And I believe you actually could make a very simple, completely cohesive look with just these three shades. I think you could put this one in your crease and the middle one as a shimmer over the lid and use this white to highlight your brow bone and your inner corner, and you're good to go. Next up is a used and abused palette that's actually broken off the hinges. This is the Comfort Zone Wet n Wild palette. I did just recently use this one in my drugstore video. Again, I love Wet n Wild shadows, and I do love that they have all of them labeled. The fact that I use them, the label's kind of wiped away, but they're pressed into them. They say things like, this one says brow bone, eyelid, crease, definer, and then on the back of the palette it shows you like an eye and where to put the colors so you can create a look just in case you have trouble like figuring out where you can use all of these on your face. This brow bone highlight shade up here actually is apparently a dupe for MAC's Nylon, which I do have, and I'm going to save that for a dupe video, so we'll see if it really is a dupe. Moving on and sticking in the drugstore realm, I have this e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette. This is the Naked one, and these are all shimmers, and they are actually pretty great quality. Like, let me just grab one of these. Like, there's really good pigmentation on them. I think these are great for just incorporating in any eye look you have going. One reason I can see people being a little resistant to buy this palette is it's completely shimmery. So you do actually need to dive into another one or like another Z palette you have just to get crease shades and everything to complete an entire eye look. But I totally don't mind that because as this video progresses, you will see that I have just enough palettes to do that. I have a sickening amount of eyeshadow palettes. So I don't mind buying ones that you'll need like other shades to incorporate to make an entire look. My next palette is a Vizart one, and this is the Dark Matte. This palette is amazing. Like, I love Vizart shadows. I'm actually going to buy another palette, but the price tag does seriously hurt when buying these, but they're just amazing. Like, I love all the different colors in them and that they're like so dark that they're actually so easy to wear. Like, this one doesn't scare me. as much as I can see the other Wet n Wild one scaring people because it's more vibrant. So as you can see, compared to the Wet n Wild palette, this one is way more vibrant, and this one's more toned down and like totally fine for everyday looks if you do know how to incorporate them. But again, for like the amount of pigment you get with these shadows, it's like unreal. I'm barely even touching it. I'll do one swipe on this one. Swoop. Oh, I love them. I love them. I love them. And the pans in here are pretty decent size, so I can also justify the price with that. Next palette I have is one of my Milani ones that I also just used in a video, and this one comes with a double-sided brush. This is the Must Have Neutrals palette. It has a great range of shimmers and mattes. I love that this palette has a black in it because most drugstore palettes don't. And it's not a chalky, gross one. It's like pretty pigmented for drugstore mattes. It's got cool brown shades, and it's got like a good highlight shade here, which you can even use on your face. I mean, no judgment here. It's just powder. You can put it wherever you want. But I do love this palette too. It's very nice and very versatile. Next we have another Milani palette, and this one also comes with a brush. This is the Earthy Elements one. And both of these, I forgot to mention before, have just like the Wet n Wild ones. On the back it's got a diagram and it shows you where you can place the colors to create an eye look. This one actually seems like a pretty decent one. I might have to try that one. But I love these ones because they're nice, warm, and earthy, just like the name suggests. And they're very nice on the eyes. I like them. Moving on to slightly bigger palettes. This is my Tarte palette. This is the Be Your Own Tartist palette, and it comes with a blush in it. I do love Tarte's blushes. They are such good quality. They are pigmented and they stay on the face really well. And I do like that this has like a more purpley set here that you can create an entire eye look, and this one has like a more neutral brown tone here that you can create an eye look with. It's really great, and this blush definitely suits both looks that you could create with it. And it's got a pretty big mirror in it too. And the packaging on it, beautiful. Beautiful. Next we have the Moodstruck Addiction Shadow Palette by Unique. Haven't used this one yet actually. This one has great purple tones again, which are really great for brown eyes. They bring it out very nicely, and these are also very pigmented. And they're a pretty decent size, and it comes with a nice mirror in it, so. Next palette we have is the Manny and Makeup Geek palette. In case you can't already tell, I absolutely love this palette, and I definitely think my favorite shade ever is this one right here. This is, I believe, Insomnia. It's an amazing duochrome. It's like brown to super nice teal green. I do actually have a video using this one. The shadow for the definer in the Wet n Wild palette looks like it could also be a dupe for the Insomnia for the Manny and Makeup Geek palette. I will also save that one for another dupe video where I'm going to compare certain things. Duochrome shadows like this are so great, especially if you put like a black base. It'll totally change the look of it, and it's just amazing. I love it, and I love this red, even though it does turn up a little more pinkish when you put it on the eyes. But Makeup Geek palettes are also very, very pigmented and beautiful. So I like this one, and I love Manny. He's easily one of my top 3 favorite YouTubers. He's hilarious, and it comes with a nice mirror in it too. And I love how sleek the packaging is, and it's like a nice, hard, very dense cardboard packaging, which is like my favorite eyeshadow palette packaging. This palette gives me life. I love this palette. Like, I love Tarte shadows, and this palette like comes with a gigantic mirror. The pigmentation is so amazing. The shades in here are so versatile. Say a quick prayer for that white one on the top, because I dropped it and shattered it. But I'm just so happy that the whole palette didn't shatter. It smells just like the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes, but like kind of better. Like it smells more like vanilla cocoa-y. Oh, so good. Like I love the pigmentation in these. Oh my god, it just eats me. It eats me. I love them. I do also have a video using this palette as well, so you should check that one out. I think it might even be my first video. Next we got some Kylie stuff, because I hopped on the Kylie bandwagon. The first one I'm going to show is the Holiday Edition one. I filmed a video on the entire holiday collection, and this palette actually was really nice. I love the jewel tones. I love this green. It's so nice. The shimmery silver. They're so pigmented and so pretty, and I just love them because they're nice and cool toned. But like her shimmers are out of this world. They're like amazing. I really like this palette a lot. Next up I have the Kylie Burgundy palette. This one my boyfriend actually got me for Christmas. This one is also super beautiful. I was dying for this one. Oh, I love it. I love this shimmer shade up here that a lot of people actually really don't like because it's like not totally shimmery, but I like that it's like a subtle shimmer. It's like a sheen. You can tell between this one and the one underneath it that they're like totally not the same. Like you can tell the more bronze one is like way, way, way more shimmery. When she made it, she even said that she intended for it to be like a subtle brow bone highlight or inner corner highlight. So it definitely suits what she intended the color to be for, and I love it. I love, love, love this palette. People can talk crap all they want about the Kardashians, but Kylie definitely makes some pretty amazing products. Next up, I have two Studio Makeup on the Go palettes. One of them is in Warm Up, and the other one is in Cool Down. I kind of like those names for them, but I wasn't totally impressed with the Cool Down palette, sadly enough. I got both of these in my BoxyCharm on different months, obviously, not the same one. They're both supposed to retail for around $50. This one I really like. It kind of reminds me of the Kylie Bronze palette, which I don't own, otherwise I would compare them to each other. But I do really like this one, but this one I had way less luck with. I do like the color scheme in it. It's definitely nice. I don't know why, I just wasn't so impressed with the Cool Down palette, but the Warm Up one was really, really nice. And they are in pretty similar packaging to the Milani and Makeup Geek palette, in the fact that they are like cardboard, pretty dense, with a mirror, which is nice because mirrors are very important to have. Next up, I have my Lorac Pro palette. This one I really like a lot. I do like the colors, especially because the top row is all mattes and then the bottom row is kind of like the shimmery version of the mattes, which I think is really clever and I really like that. This one also comes with a mirror. It's very nice and sleek. I love it. Next, I have two Kat Von D palettes. I have the Monarch one and her Shade and Light Eye palette. This palette gives me life. Like, I can't even talk about it enough. I love Kat Von D's powder formulas, like her bronzing contour palette too. That one's amazing. Like, if you're gonna buy any contour palette, it better be the Kat Von D one. But this eye palette is just so amazing because I love how they're all mattes. Every single one of them. You can do either warm tones or cool tones. And it's got a white and a black, which are very important for palettes for me. And amazing different crease shades. I love this palette. This palette is like my favorite thing ever, and it doesn't even look like I used it, but I use this on the daily. Next is her Monarch palette, which I actually haven't used that much, but I know when I saw it, I was like dying to use it. The packaging on this is amazing, especially the skulls and the butterfly wings. It's just so pretty. I love it. I don't even know if this one is still available, but pretty much any of her shadow shades you really can't go wrong with. Like, I love them. This palette is not all mattes like the other one is. You can see that you have your matte black and a deep chocolate, and then this one right here, which is like a cool tone one. And this red over here is like kind of matte, but it has a little bit of sparkle in it. Same thing with this yellow. And this shade over here is like a matte white with some like glitter particles in it, but when you pick it up, like, it doesn't really show. It kind of just shows as like a matte shade. Not exactly ones I use on the daily, but like pigmentation, girl. Pigmentation. So pretty. Kat Von D shadows and just regular powders. Amazing. This Kat Von D regular basic Shade and Light palette is definitely a runner-up next to my Tarte Linen Bloom and my Anastasia Modern Renaissance Ride or Die palettes. Next up is my baby. I love this palette. It's so smooth and cute. Ooh, I just got black on it. Cool, destroyed it. This palette is amazing. It's like this beautiful, like, velvety feeling casing, which does stink because you can get powders all over it and destroy it and make it dirty. So I do keep the box to store it in because I'm very OCD like that. It comes with a dual-sided brush, which could be better in my opinion. It's kind of scratchy for me, but the shadows in here are like this palette is the best palette ever created. Like, I love it. And I've never really been one for Anastasia formulas, but like this palette in particular, it might just be like the color scheme of things, but like, I just look at it and I like die a little inside. Like, I love it. They're so pigmented. They're really nice because it's like so warm. But the thing that people complain about is like the fallout. But that fallout is because of the intense, crazy pigmentation you get. Like, that's why whenever I use this palette, I always do my eyes first so that any eyeshadow fallout like I get under my eyes, I can just wipe away with a makeup wipe and I'm good to go. I think the pigmentation and the blendability is definitely like far beyond the fallout and kickback that you get with this palette, so it's totally worth it. And it's just so pretty. And I'm so, so thankful that this wasn't limited edition. So happy it's permanent because I have a feeling I'm gonna go through a whole crap load of these throughout my life because they're just so amazing. I love warm shadows. Next up, we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. The shades in them are absolutely amazing, especially this shade up here called Satin Sheets, this big long one. It's like an iridescent pink with like gold in it. It's so pretty. It's like a pink champagne color, and it's easily my favorite shade in the palette. Like, I used to just use this for brow bone and inner corner, but now I will like totally use it for my entire eye. The shades are very pretty. They're very neutral. There's nothing crazy about them. They're perfect for people to create an entire look with them, but the pigmentation in some of them I feel like is subpar, especially for like such an expensive palette. Like this pink just like doesn't really give it to me. Like, it feels like a very stiff formula, and I'm like really rubbing hard and it's just not coming off that great. So there's some shadows in here that could be better in my opinion, but I think the overall palette is pretty nice. Like, I do like that the browns are very cool toned, so they're very nice for all transitions, whatever you want to do. You can even create a very basic look with it, or if you really build up this pink, I think it could be pretty, but it could take a very long time, which I'm not really all about that. But regardless, it's pretty and it smells amazing. Next up is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette. This one, same thing as the other one. I feel like some shadows could be better. This one, I feel like smells more strongly than the other one, which is totally not something I'm gonna complain about, but I know some people are sensitive to smell in their makeup, but I love it. I love scented makeup. I love all the Too Faced like bronzers. They smell so good. Their palettes smell amazing. I love them because they're sweet smells. Like, I like vanilla cocoa-y smells, but once you get into like the rose category, not for this guy. Do not like rose scented things. But this palette is amazing. This one's more warm tone browns and I love it. This peanut butter shade right here is amazing. And this shade right here, this is a shimmery shadow. This one's very pretty and very pigmented. And I do also really like this blue shade, although I haven't really used it that much. But I mean, this one is way more pigmented than the pink. So that makes me happy. And I do love that it's got a black in it and a nice matte coconut cream shade that you can either set your entire lid with after you prime it, or you can also use that for like a matte inner corner highlight. So this palette is definitely better in my opinion than the other one, but I do like the color scheme of both, so I was like, why not? I just need to get the original chocolate bar palette and I'm good. Not a fan of the Sweet Peach, don't really think it was worth it, so don't have that one. But I could sniff these for days. We're kind of getting there, we're about halfway. I have a problem. Next up, you already know I got all the Naked palettes. Don't have the smoky one because I felt like I wouldn't really use it that much. My boyfriend bought me 2 of these because he's an angel from above. He got me the Naked original one and the Naked 3. This is the original Naked palette. This one is also velvety textured, just like the Modern Renaissance palette. This one I'm sure everyone knows about because this was like all over YouTube years ago. It was like all the internet could talk about. It does have a pretty small mirror in it for the shadow, but it does come with a double-ended brush, which is pretty decent. This palette is very pretty, and I do know that a lot of people like die for Naked palettes. So I have all of them because I am one of those people that just like needs them all. The pigmentation is really good in these ones as well. Urban Decay makes amazing shadows, as I said before. And their mattes in here I think are really great to create an entire eye look. You have like all your range of light colors and then it goes to really dark, which I do really like. So you can even create a smoky look with this one super easily. Then we have the Naked 2, which is my favorite of the 3 just because it's more brown shades. This one's got the big mirror, which I really like. And this one also, as they usually do, this one comes with another dual-ended brush. These shades are also nice and pigmented. I love that they created a black in this one, and there's also a really nice, the light shade you could use to set your eye primer, or you can also do a matte inner corner highlight or a brow bone, as I've said before, or you can use this shade in here. I forget what this one is called. Booty Call, which is a nice light one, and it's also very shimmery, like very nice and pigmented. And they're also very easy to blend, which is nice. Urban Decay makes some really, really great shadows, which is why they're so raved about. Now on to the Naked 3. This one is more like a pink mauve-y toned one, again with the brush, and this one also has the bigger mirror. So these ones are way lighter in tone. You could create very nice day looks with this one. This one's got a nice matte shade here that you can use to set your primer or do the inner corner or brow bone highlight for matte shades. And I do love that it's such a nice, cool pink range, so you could do very subtle eye looks if you're interested. And these ones also, again, very pigmented and very beautiful on the eyes. Very easy to blend as well. Next, I have the Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette. I got this one when it first released, so mine's been used a little more than people who are just receiving theirs. This palette is so pretty, and I'm actually thinking about using this one in a video because everyone's like raving about them. I love Morphe shadows. Their shimmer shades, like, they're pretty much high-end. Like, it makes me wonder why other brands that are like so highly priced aren't reducing them, because clearly Morphe can do it. Like, why can't like Tom Ford? Like, hello. This green shade, please, please. I love them. Morphe is so amazing with their shadows. I know some people are skeptical to buy Morphe because of all like the YouTubers like pushing their affiliate codes, and they're just talking about them because they get money for it. But I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting a single penny for making this video, and Morphe is amazing. These shadows are so nice. There is no mirror in this palette, but it's totally fine because this palette's only like, I think, $14.99. It is limited edition, so if it is still in stock when you buy this, I suggest you get your hands on it real quick, real quick. I'm not sure if all of the shades in here are regular ones that they have as individual shadows, but I know some, if not most of them are. So if you cannot get your hands on this, I believe there may be like just a few shades that she created herself. I could be making that up because I know at least some of them are ones that are already Morphe colors that she just put into the palette. So even if you can't get your hands on it, you could always look up what the shade names are, or you can watch Kathleen's video on the palette and she lets you know everything about it. Next up, we have two big MAC palettes. I still have the packaging on it because I'm a disaster and I know I'll scratch it. This is the 15 Cool Neutral palette. The light is making them look a little lighter than they are because it's a very intense Diva ring light. This palette is beautiful in my opinion. I do like how cool toned it is, as the name suggests. It's cool neutral, and you can make a bunch of different looks with it. Like, I love their pigmented shadows. They're very nice quality because, I mean, they're MAC. MAC does make good ones. But I'm starting to feel like some cheaper brands like Morphe are coming out with better shadow formulas for less money. So I have noticed that these big palettes have gone down in price. They used to be, I think, $85 for a big one like this, and now they are around $65, I believe. This one, I believe, has a bigger range of colors. Like the other palette, I believe all the ones in like these two rows were pretty much very similar. But this one has a wider range, I believe, because it comes from like brown over here to more yellow tones. And they are very pigmented, and I feel like they're more popular shades that people use. Like there's Dark Brew, Dance in the Dark, Ginger Snap, Honey Lust, Saddle, which is like the best crease shade ever. Like, I love MAC shadows. MAC makes some really good products, people. If you do go to a MAC Pro store, you can buy a Z palette like this one. I believe that this palette would only be $8 to buy without this insert. As you can see in the light, you can see that there's this line here. You insert this part which gets the different pans in it, or you can leave that out and just buy the palette for $8 and put in the individual shades. If you buy individual shadows from MAC Pro stores, it's only $6. So it's right up there with Makeup Geek. It's not that crazy anymore. So if you want to create a MAC palette yourself, you can create one like this for pretty decently priced with shadows that you know you're going to use on the daily. Next we have the BH Cosmetics and Carly Bible palette. This was from Ulta. I'm not totally sure if they're still selling it. It does come with a mirror in it, and the plastic on here was nicely like, it's got a little sticker here so that it keeps it on. So it's really nice to protect the shades. This palette was also, I believe, only like $14.99. BH Cosmetics is a very affordable brand at Ulta, and this palette actually has such good quality. Like, all of these 4 shades down here are shimmery, so they could all be used for highlights. This one could be way better for darker skin tones, or you can use this as an eyeshadow if you're of fair complexion. And just like, they're all so buttery and soft, and like the pigmentation on this is unreal for how cheap this palette is. Like, it's just so nice and shimmery. I love this palette. And I do love how cool toned it is over here. These shades are more cool, and then it gets a little warmer and more neutral as it goes along. It's got a very nice shade range. I love it. Next is a palette that I'm not totally thrilled about. This is the Urban Decay and Gwen Stefani palette. I bought this only because I saw that it went on sale for like $25, because I guess people also weren't impressed with it and no one was buying it. But I mean, it's pretty nice. I just feel like it's pretty repetitive. It does have a giant mirror in it, and it's like very sturdy and well made, which I like. It's just the shade range that kind of gets to me. Like half the palette is transition shades, and they're maybe like a quarter of a shade different in tone. Like the only thing that's good is like this bottom row and then like these 3 up here. The rest of it, like these 6 or 8 shadows up here, pretty much all the same color. They're definitely pigmented and very nice, and like some of them are shimmery. Like these 3 are shimmery, and this one's kind of like a very basic shimmer. It's like not that crazy shimmery. But like the pigmentation is nice. It's just the fact that they're just all like the same shade. That kind of gets me. I don't know. I mean, Urban Decay makes great shadows, but this shade selection is like not doing it for me. It's like less than pleasing, I guess. But I bought it because it was pretty cheap. I mean, like 15 Urban Decay shadows for only $25. I mean, you're never gonna see that again. So I bought it for that. Less than impressed with all the crazy shades that are pretty much the same toned. Next we have one of my favorite palettes ever created, and it stinks because it was limited edition, but I do know that Violet Voss actually brought it back in like holographic packaging for a little bit, so if you do like this one I would get my hands on it real quick. But this palette, I don't know, I guess Laura Lee is just like my spirit animal because we like the same colors. It's got a nice mirror in it, but like the shades. First off, it's huge. You get a lot of shadows in it, and I love the shade range. They're all like very nice and warm, but then there's like the pops of color, like Smashly. I love that one because it's kind of like a duochrome. And then there's Yoshi up here, which is more similar to Manny and Makeup Geek's Insomnia in the sense that it's like a duochrome, like green and brown. It's very nice. And like these shadows are so pigmented, and I love the names on them. Pris Pop, Mama Bird, Ragamuffin. I love Fried. That's like my favorite one because like it really does remind me of like fried chicken shade. It's like a baby puke kind of green brown shade. I don't know. I love this palette. It's so amazing and I use it all the time. I'm so sad that it's limited edition. I might have to buy another one myself. We're almost there, guys. Sticking in very nicely. Next is a very recent purchase of mine, the Tarte Pro palette. Like, look at this mirror. It's like the size of my face. And the smell. Oh my god, they all just smell so good. I just want to eat them. This is a more pricey palette, but it is also like huge. It's gigantic, and all of the square shadows are matte, and then the circle ones are shimmer. And I do believe that they're meant to be used in like a row. Like this whole row will make a look, this row can make a look, this row, like all of them can make looks on their own. But you could obviously incorporate them any way you want. Look at those. There's clearly not like a crazy amount of them being used yet because I did like just buy this like last week, but the pigmentation is amazing on Tarte shadows and I love them. If you're interested in a tutorial on any of these palettes, especially this one, just let me know down below and I will definitely film them. Now for the last 4 palettes I own. They are also the largest, and they are of course Morphe palettes because I can't get enough Morphe. First off, we have the 35K palette. I love that it has browns and blacks in it, and it's really nice with this light shades up here. And again, pigmentation, definitely really nice. Like, I love them. Morphe is killing it. This palette is really great for someone who really likes just doing regular neutral looks on the regular, because you can do cool and warm ones with this shadow palette. And there's so many shades, so I mean you could really do so much with it. Next up we have the 35W. This one, I think the W is supposed to suggest warm. Palette is one that I kind of don't use that much anymore because I just go towards different eye looks nowadays. This one was like an older palette that I purchased. But looking at like this section of it, it kind of reminds me of the Too Faced Peach palette, because it's got like this more green toned one and then it's got these nice pinks in it. But I do like the colors in it. I just don't reach for it as much, but they are still very nice Morphe formula. Now moving on to my 2 favorite Morphe palettes. This one is the 35O Matte. I bought the bundle of the matte and the shimmer. This is the matte one. I did use this one in a video as well. Like, these warm tones are just my favorite thing ever. And I used to not like warm tones. I used to only gear myself towards like cool tones and like dark eyeshadows. But nowadays I like to go for like a more warm toned look, especially with like oranges. Pigment, pigment. Come on. This palette makes me feel like it's fall time all year round, and I love it. The 35O is a really nice palette as well, just by itself, but that one's a mix of matte and shimmers. And matte eyeshadows seem to be the ones that I go towards the most, because I'll just do like a basic face look and then I'll just throw like 1 or 2 shades in my crease and just make it look very natural. But I do like mattes more, but I did just have to get the bundle because like the shimmers in the next palette are so beautiful. This is the 35O S. This is just shimmers. The entire palette is all shimmers. As I said before, Morphe's shimmer like formula is to die for. Like, let me know what palette you can buy for 22 bucks that's this big with that great of pigment. Let me know, because I'll wait, because you won't find one. And I don't care what people say about YouTubers pushing affiliate links, because if you're watching them on YouTube, obviously you like what they do. And if you use their affiliate link, you get money off, and they also get money for their hard work with videos. Like, making videos is not easy, so I mean, if I can show support, I'm down. These two palettes are amazing. Like, they're so beautiful. I love that you have like all of the matte shades, and you could be like, I would really like the shimmery version of this one. Well, here you go, buddy. It's right here. And that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around through all of those palettes. I know I have a sufficient amount and it's totally unnecessary, but I love buying eyeshadow palettes, as I said before, because I feel like they're the most versatile thing you can buy. And if you ever want to lend something to your friend, like, you know it's going to work for them, because like it doesn't matter what skin tone you are, you can pretty much always make eyeshadows work. So I love buying eyeshadows, so I have a very disgusting amount of them. If you found any in here that you really, really like and want to see a tutorial on, please just let me know down below. I would be more than happy to film a video for any of them. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any more of my future videos, and give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and you love eyeshadow palettes just as much as I do, because it helps me out hugely. And I really appreciate you sticking around to the end, and I hope you have a fantabulous day.
Are you filming a video?
Yes. Do you want to say hello?
Hi.
I need counseling. Like, who the hell owns this many palettes? Who? No one. I've been sitting in front of this light way too long. My eyes are going nuts. So many swatches on these makeup wipes. Brr.